The year was 2157. Humans now lived not just on Earth but also on Mars, Europa, and Titan. Captain Jin Park stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, his hands behind his back. The ship was the best warship humans had ever built. It was big, powerful, and could destroy almost anything. Jin was 45 years old. His black hair had some gray in it now. His face showed the marks of someone who had seen too many fights. He had fought in the Third Martian conflict 10 years ago. Many people died then. Jin tried not to think about it too much. "Captain, we are at the edge of the Kuiper Belt," said Officer Yun, who controlled where the ship went. Jin nodded. "Keep us on this path. We need to finish our patrol." The Retribution was a marvel of human technology. It had engines powered by fusion, the same power that made stars burn. Its weapons could fire antimatter, the most powerful weapon humans knew how to make. Its shields could bend space itself to protect the ship. Jin walked to the front window. Space was dark and quiet. Too quiet. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Han Tae-young from his spot at the sensor station. His voice was tense. "I'm seeing something strange ahead." Jin turned. "Show me." The main screen lit up. At first, there was nothing but stars. Then a small dot of light appeared. It grew bigger. It was not a star or a planet or anything Jin had ever seen before. "What is that?" Jin asked. Lieutenant Han shook his head. "I don't know, sir. It's like a tear in space." The tear grew bigger. It was shaped like a drop of water, but it was huge, bigger than the moon. It pulsed with strange light that hurt the eyes. "Alert status," Jin ordered. Red lights began to flash all over the ship. "Get Admiral Lee on the line, now." But before they could call Earth, something came out of the tear. Ships. Strange ships that looked like they were made of crystal. They did not move like normal ships. They moved like they were dancing. "Count?" Jin asked. 7 ships, sir," Han said. "They're in a perfect pattern. I've never seen anything like it." Jin felt cold fear in his stomach. But he was a captain. He could not show fear. "Try to talk to them," he ordered. The communications officer, a young woman named Park Sun-hai, nodded. "All channels open, sir," sending standard greeting. For a long moment there was silence. Then every screen on the bridge lit up with the same message. It was in perfect English. "We have consumed 1,000 Earths across the multiverse. Yours. We'll be next." Jin's blood turned to ice. "Send that to Earth now." The crystal ships moved closer. They did not hurry. They did not need to. The message came again. "We are the harmonious unity. We bring perfect order. Resistance is temporary." Jin had fought in wars. He had seen bad things, but this made him more afraid than anything before. "Sir," said Lieutenant Han, "Earth is sending a diplomatic ship to meet them, the Unity." Jin shook his head. "No, tell them to wait." But it was too late. The small diplomatic ship was already moving toward the Crystal Fleet. Jin watched, hoping he was wrong. The Unity ships fired. There was no warning, no talk. The diplomatic ship turned into light and was gone. Just like that. 500 people gone in a second. Jin's hands gripped the rail so hard his knuckles turned white. "Get me Admiral Lee. Now." Admiral Lee Sumi's face appeared on the screen. She was an older woman with short gray hair and eyes that had seen too much war. "Captain Park," she said. Her voice was calm, but Jin could see the fear in her eyes. "You saw what happened?" "Yes, Admiral." "What are your orders?" Admiral Lee looked down for a moment. When she looked up, her face was like stone. "The United Council has made its decision. We can't talk to these things, and we can't beat them in a fair fight." "Then what do we do?" Jin asked. "The Retribution carries something special, something secret," Admiral Lee said. "Dr. Bay's prototype. It might be able to close that tear in space." Jin knew about Dr. Bay Minho's work. The scientist had made a device that could affect space itself, but it was not tested. It might not work. It might kill everyone on the ship. "And if it doesn't work?" Jin asked. Admiral Lee's face was grim. Then you do what the Retribution was built to do. You fight. You make them pay for every inch. Jin nodded slowly. I understand. One more thing, Captain, Admiral Lee said. Our scientists just finished looking at the data you sent. The Unity ships, they're scanning Earth, all of it, like they're making a map. For an attack, Jin said. It wasn't a question. Yes, we think they'll hit major cities first. We're evacuating as many people as we can. Jin looked at his crew. They were all listening. They were all afraid. But they were ready. We won't let that happen, Jin said. Admiral Lee gave a small smile. I know you won't. Humanity is counting on you, Captain Park. The Retribution is our best hope. The screen went dark. Jin turned to his crew. You heard the Admiral. We have a job to do. Sir, said Lieutenant Han, the Unity ships are moving. They're heading toward Earth's moon. Jin nodded. Then we follow them, quietly. The Retribution's engines came to life. The great ship moved forward, following the crystal ships from a distance. Officer Yoon looked up from her station. Captain, if we use Dr. Bay's device, what happens to us? Jin looked at her. He could lie. He could say they would be fine, but his crew deserved the truth. I don't know, he said, but I know what happens if we don't try. The crew was quiet. They understood. Jin looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there were other Earths. 1,000 of them, the Unity had said. All dead now. Not this Earth, Jin whispered to himself. Not today. The Retribution moved silently through space, following the enemy that had destroyed 1,000 worlds. The ship was humanity's best weapon. Its crew was ready to fight. And its captain was ready to do whatever it took to save Earth, even if it meant he would never see it again. Ahead, the crystal ships continued their perfect dance through space, unaware that they were being followed, unaware that this Earth might be different from all the others, unaware that humanity was about to fight back. The Unity ships moved toward Earth's moon. They flew in groups of 7. Always 7. Their crystal hulls shone in the sunlight. Lieutenant Han Tae-young watched them on his screen. He was young, only 30, but his eyes were sharp. He noticed things others missed. Captain, he said to Jin, look at how they move. Jin came to stand behind Han. On the screen, the Unity ships moved in a perfect pattern. They never broke formation. They never made mistakes. They move like they're connected, Han said. Like they're all parts of one thing. Jin nodded. What does that tell us? Han thought for a moment. It might mean they have one weak point. If we can break their pattern, we might break them. Jin put his hand on Han's shoulder. Good. Keep watching. The Retribution followed the Unity ships from far away. The ship had special systems that made it hard to see. Even the Unity did not know they were there. On the moon, the Unity ships landed. They began to build something. It looked like a base. They're getting ready to attack Earth, Jin said. We need to know more about them. Science Officer Kim Na-young stood nearby. She was quiet and smart. She had short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. Sir, she said, one of their ships is alone. It's away from the others. Jin looked at the screen. She was right. One Unity ship had moved away from the moon. It was scanning an area of space. It's looking for us, Jin said. It knows something is out here. Jin made a decision. We're going to take it down. The crew looked at him with wide eyes. But sir, said Officer Yun, there are thousands of them. And we need to know how to fight them, Jin said. This is our chance to learn. Jin gave the order. The Retribution moved closer to the lone Unity ship. Weapons came online. The great warship was built for this. Fire when ready, Jin said. The Retribution's antimatter cannons fired. Bright beams of energy cut through space. They hit the Unity ship before it could react. The crystal hull cracked, then broke. The ship came apart in a silent explosion of light. Direct hit, called out Lieutenant Han. But the celebration didn't last long. Captain, said Officer Kim, her voice strange. You need to see this. On the screen, the broken pieces of the Unity ship floated in space. But inside the pieces, they could see something else. Something that made no sense. People. Human people. Floating in clear tubes, hundreds of them. What? Jin couldn't finish his question. Officer Kim worked quickly at her station. They're humans, sir, but not from our Earth. The readings are strange. It's like they're from somewhere else. Jin remembered what the Unity had said. We have consumed 1,000 Earths. They're taking people, Jin said, before they destroy the Earths. Officer Kim looked closer at her readings. They're alive, sir, but not awake. It's like they're frozen. Jin felt sick. The Unity wasn't just destroying worlds. It was collecting people. But why? We need to get back to Earth, Jin said. Now. The Retribution turned and raced back to Earth. But when they got there, things were bad. Very bad. People all over Earth were having strange dreams. Dreams of other Earths being destroyed. Dreams of crystal ships and death. Many people couldn't sleep. Some had gone crazy. The Unity is attacking our minds, Admiral Lee told Jin when he reported back. They're making us afraid. They met in a room deep under the ground. Many of Earth's leaders were there. Their faces were tired and scared. Tell them what you found, Captain, Admiral Lee said. Jin told them about the humans in the Unity ship. When he finished, the room was quiet. Dr. Bae Min-ho was there too. He was old, with white hair and glasses. He was the one who made the device. That might close the space tear. It makes sense, Dr. Bae said. The Unity isn't just destroying, it's taking. Taking what? Jin asked. Everything, Dr. Bae said. Knowledge, people, maybe even the planets themselves. It's adding each Earth to itself. Admiral Lee stood up. We have reports from all over. The Unity ships are landing in more places on the moon. Soon they'll come to Earth. Our armies? Jin asked. Admiral Lee shook her head. Not enough. We've seen what their weapons can do, and people are too scared to fight well. Jin looked around the room. These were Earth's best leaders, and they were losing hope. We can fight, Jin said. The Retribution hurt one of their ships. We can hurt more. One ship against thousands? Someone asked. Jin didn't back down. We don't need to fight them all. We need to close that tear in space. Stop more of them from coming. All eyes turned to Dr. Bae. My device, Dr. Bae said, might be able to close the tear, but someone would need to take it there. Right to the tear. Through all those Unity ships, Jin said. Dr. Bae nodded. Yes, and the device needs a lot of power. The only ship that has enough is the Retribution, Jin finished. The room was quiet again. Everyone knew what this meant. Whoever took the device to the tear might not come back. Admiral Lee looked at Jin. I can't order you to do this. Jin stood straighter. You don't have to. The Retribution will go. As they left the meeting, Officer Kim walked beside Jin. Captain, she said, I've been studying the Unity. I think I know why they keep the humans. Jin stopped walking. Tell me. The humans in those tubes had strange brain patterns, Kim said. It's like they're being used, like computers. Jin frowned. You think the Unity is using human brains? Kim nodded. Yes. I think that's how they know us so well, how they know how to scare us. They've learned from all those other Earths. Jin thought about this. It made the Unity even more terrible, but it also gave him an idea. If they're connected to those humans, Jin said, then maybe those humans are a weak point. Kim's eyes widened. Maybe. But we'd need to know more. Jin nodded. Then we'll learn more. While Dr. Bae gets his device ready, we're going hunting. That night, the Retribution left Earth again. This time, they weren't just watching. They were going to catch a Unity ship. They were going to learn its secrets. As they flew toward the moon, Jin looked back at Earth, blue and beautiful, the only home humans had ever known. We will save you, he promised. The Retribution's engines glowed bright as the ship picked up speed. Ahead, the Unity waited. The real war was about to begin. The Retribution came back to Earth with new changes. Workers had been busy for 3 days adding Dr. Bay's special device to the ship. The device was big and took up much of the cargo area. It had many wires and parts that glowed blue. "Will it work?" Jin asked Dr. Bay. The old scientist pushed his glasses up. "It should, but we won't know until we try." Dr. Bay explained how the device worked in simple terms. It makes a wave that is the opposite of what makes the tear in space, like how a good sound can stop a bad sound. Jin nodded. He didn't understand all the science, but he understood his job. Get the device to the tear in space. Jin picked his team for the mission. He needed the best people. Lieutenant Han would work weapons and watch for enemy ships. Officer Kim would study the Unity and help with the device. Engineer Choi Do-hyun would keep the engines running. And Commander Song Ji-won would lead a team of fighters in case they needed to fight inside a Unity ship. Commander Song was new to the Retribution. She was tall and strong. She had led special fighting teams in the Martian conflict. Her face had a small scar on the left cheek. "My team is ready, Captain," she said when they met. "We know this might be a one-way trip." Jin looked at her. "We all know that, Commander." The night before they left, Jin couldn't sleep. He walked through the quiet ship. In the engine room, he found Engineer Choi working late. Choi was short and had quick hands. He was always fixing things. He looked up when Jin came in. "Captain," he said, surprised. "I was just making sure everything is ready." Jin nodded. "How are the engines?" "They're good," Choi said. "But that device uses a lot of power. We might not have enough for a long fight and to use the device." Jin understood what this meant. They would have one chance. "Then we make it count," Jin said. The next morning, the Retribution left Earth for what might be the last time. The plan was simple but dangerous. Fight through the Unity ships, get to the tear in space, and use Dr. Bay's device to close it to LR. They flew. Officer Kim showed Jin and the others what she had learned about the Unity. "They're not just ships," she said. "They're all parts of one big thing, one mind that lives across many worlds. That's why they always move in perfect patterns," Lieutenant Han said. Kim nodded. "Yes, and the humans they keep are like parts of their brain. They use human minds to help them think and plan." Jin frowned. "So they need us. They need our minds," Kim said. "But not us, not who we are." Commander Song spoke up. "That's sick. It's how they win," Kim said. "They know how we think, how we fight. They've seen it all before on other Earths." Jin stood up. "Then we do something they haven't seen before." As they got closer to the moon, they could see hundreds of Unity ships. The Crystal Fleet was getting bigger. Soon they would attack Earth. "Ready weapons," Jin ordered. Lieutenant Han's hands moved over his controls. "Weapons hot, Captain." Jin looked at his crew. They were scared, but they were brave too. "Earth is counting on us," Jin said. "We won't let them down." The Retribution moved forward, engines burning bright. For a moment, the Unity ships didn't notice them. Then all at once, the crystal ships began to move. "They see us," Han said. Jin nodded. "Full speed. Aim for that gap between the ships." The Retribution shot forward. The Unity ships moved to block them, but they were too slow. The human ship was through their first line. Then the Unity ships fired. Beams of strange light hit the Retribution's shields. "Shields at 80%, Choi called out from engineering. The ship shook. Jin held onto his chair. "Return fire," he ordered. The Retribution's antimatter cannons fired. 2 Unity ships broke apart, but more were coming. "Hard to port," Jin ordered. Officer Yun turned the ship hard left. They just missed being hit by 3 Unity beams at once. "We can't fight them all," Han said. His face was wet with sweat. Jin knew he was right. "We don't need to fight them all, we just need to get to the tear." The Retribution flew on, taking hits. The shields were getting weaker. Shields at 50%. Choi's voice came through the speakers. We took damage to the port side. 2 engines are down. Jin felt the ship shake again. Can we still make it to the tear? Yes, Choi said. But it will be close. Suddenly, Officer Kim called out, Captain, look at the tear. On the screen, they could see the tear in space. It was pulsing, growing, bigger than smaller. It has a pattern, Kim said, excited. Every 47 seconds it gets smaller, that's when its power is less. Jin understood at once. We time our approach with that pattern. When the tear is at its weakest point, we go through. Lieutenant Han looked worried. Through? I thought we were going to close it from here. Jin shook his head. The device needs to be closer. Dr. Bay was clear about that. But what's on the other side? Han asked. No one had an answer. Jin made a choice. We're going through. Time our approach with the tear's pattern. The Retribution turned toward the tear in space. More Unity ships tried to stop them. The ship took more hits. Shields at 30%, Choi called. Jin watched the tear. It was pulsing. Just as Kim had said. Big, then smaller. Big, then smaller. Now, Jin ordered. The Retribution's engines burned with all their power. The ship shot forward, right toward the tear when it was at its smallest. Unity ships fired at them. One beam hit directly. Shields failing, Choi shouted. The ship shook hard. Jin heard metal breaking somewhere. We're hit, Han called out. Port side, levels 3 through 5. Commander Song's voice came through. We have hull breaches. My team is sealing them now. Jin held on as the ship raced toward the tear. Keep going. The Retribution hit the edge of the tear. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. Jin felt like he was being pulled apart. He saw strange lights. He heard voices. He saw flashes of other lives, lives he might have lived on other Earths. Then, with a sound like thunder, the Retribution broke through. Jin blinked. His head hurt. Around him, the crew was getting back up. Status report, he said, his voice rough. Lieutenant Han looked at his screens. All systems are... Captain, you need to see this. Jin looked at the main screen. What he saw made no sense. They were in a place that was not space, not as they knew it. Around them were thousands of small tiers, each one showing a different Earth. Some were burning. Some were being taken apart by Unity ships. Some were already empty and dead. And in the middle of it all was a huge structure made of the same crystal as the Unity ships. It pulsed with power and light. What is that? Jin whispered. Officer Kim's voice was filled with wonder and fear. I think that's the heart of the Unity. The Retribution floated in the strange knot space. Ahead of them was the center of the enemy that had destroyed 1,000 worlds, and now they had a chance to stop it. Jin stood up straight. Ready the device. We're going to end this. Around them, more Unity ships appeared. The final battle was about to begin. The Retribution floated in the strange space. It didn't look like normal space. There were no stars, no planets, just darkness and the small tiers that showed other Earths, and the giant crystal thing in the center. What is this place? Jin asked. Officer, Kim worked at her station. It's like a space between spaces, not in our world, but not in any other world either. Lieutenant Han pointed at his screen. More Unity ships are coming. Jin nodded. Move us toward that crystal structure. That has to be what we're looking for. As the Retribution moved forward, Officer Kim gasped. Captain, look at that! On the main screen, they could see something inside the crystal structure. It was a planet, an Earth, but it looked wrong. Parts of it were missing, like someone had taken bites out of it. Is that our Earth? Jin asked. Kim shook her head. No, I think it's another Earth. Maybe the first one they took. Jin felt cold. They keep it like a trophy. Not just a trophy, Kim said. Her voice was excited and scared at the same time. I think it's their heart, the center of everything they are. Jin understood. The first Earth they ever took, that's where they started. The ship moved closer. Now they could see more. Around the broken Earth were thousands of tubes. In each tube was a human. They floated, not moving, eyes closed. So many, Han whispered. Jin turned to Engineer Choi over the comm. Is the device ready? Yes, Captain, Choi replied. But I need to tell you something. The device, it will destroy everything here, including those people in the tubes. Jin hadn't thought of that. He looked at the screens again. Thousands of humans, maybe millions, all from Earths that were already gone. They're already dead, Commander Song said from behind him. Their worlds are gone. But they're not dead, Jin said. They're still alive in those tubes. Officer Kim spoke up. Captain, there's something else. Those people, the Unity is using their brains, using their minds. They're not just keeping them, they're using them. Like slaves, Jin said. Kim nodded. Yes, they can't think for themselves anymore. The Unity controls them. Jin faced a hard choice. Use the device and kill all those people to save Earth. Or don't use it and let Earth become just one more world that the Unity took. There has to be another way, Jin said. Commander Song stepped forward. What if we free them? Jin looked at her. What do you mean? Those people, Song said. What if we wake them up? Make them think for themselves again? Officer Kim's eyes got wide. If they all woke up at once, the Unity might not be able to control them all. Jin thought about this. Could we do that? Wake them up? Kim nodded slowly. Maybe. We would need to send a signal. Something to break the Unity's control. Like what? Jin asked. Like a human thought. A strong one. Something the Unity can't stop, Kim said. Jin made his decision. We're going to try. We'll get as close as we can to that structure. Then we'll send a signal to wake up those people. And if it doesn't work? Han asked. Jin's face was hard. Then we use the device. We end it all. The Retribution moved closer to the crystal structure. More Unity ships appeared. They fired their weapons. Shields at 20%, Choi called out. The ship shook. Jin held onto his chair. Return fire, Jin ordered. The Retribution's weapons fired. 2 Unity ships broke apart. But there were too many. We can't fight them all, Han said. Jin knew he was right. We don't need to fight them all. We just need to get close enough to send the signal. Suddenly, there was a new sound. Like metal, being torn. The ship shook hard. Captain! Commander Song's voice came through the comm. They're cutting into the ship. We have boarders. Jin turned to Lieutenant Han. Keep us moving toward the structure. I'll help Commander Song. Jin ran from the bridge. He pulled out his weapon, a small gun that fired pulses of energy. In the hallway, he met 2 of Song's fighters. They were running the same way. Where's the breach? Jin asked. Deck 3, Section 5, one fighter said. Commander Song is there now. They ran together. When they got to Deck 3, they could hear the sounds of fighting. Energy weapons, firing, people shouting. Jin turned a corner and saw them. The Unity boarders. They weren't what he expected. They looked almost human, but their skin was like crystal, catching the light. Their eyes were empty. They moved in perfect unison like dancers. Commander Song and her team were fighting them. But they were losing. 3 fighters were already down. Jin raised his weapon and fired. The energy pulse hit one of the crystal people. It broke apart like glass. Song saw Jin. Captain, there are too many. Jin fired again. Another crystal person broke, but more were coming through the hole in the ship's side. Fall back, Jin ordered. Get to the bridge. They fought as they moved back. More of Song's fighters fell. Soon it was just Jin, Song, and 2 others. They made it to the bridge and sealed the door. Jin went to his chair. Status, he demanded. We're close to the structure, Han said. But shields are almost gone. Jin looked at Officer Kim. Is the signal ready? Kim nodded. Yes, but we need to be closer. Jin made a hard choice. Drop the shields. Put all power into the engines. Get us as close as we can. Han looked shocked. Without shields, they'll tear us apart. We don't have a choice, Jin said. Do it. The Retribution's shields went down. The ship surged forward. Unity weapons hit the hull directly now. Alarms sounded all over the ship. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Choi called out. We're losing atmosphere. Jin held on as the ship shook. Distance to target? 5,000 meters. 4,000. Han counted down. There was a loud explosion. From somewhere below. We've lost engine 2, Choi shouted. Engine 4 is failing. 3,000 meters. 2,000. Jin looked at the screen. They were so close now. He could see the broken earth and the crystal structure clearly. He could see the tubes with the humans. 1,000 meters. Jin turned to Officer Kim. Send the signal. Now. Kim pressed buttons on her console. Signal sending. For a moment nothing happened. The Retribution kept moving forward, breaking apart as it went. Unity weapons kept firing. Then Jin saw it. One of the humans in a tube moved. Their eyes opened. Then another, and another. All across the crystal structure, humans were waking up. Their eyes opened. They began to move in their tubes. It's working, Kim shouted. The Unity ships around them suddenly stopped firing. They began to move strangely, like they were confused. The Unity is losing control, Kim said. The humans are fighting back. Jin watched the screen. The humans in the tubes were fully awake now. Some were breaking out of their tubes. Some were just staring, their eyes glowing with a strange light. The crystal structure began to crack. Light poured out from the cracks. What's happening? Jin asked. Kim's voice was full of wonder. The humans, they're taking control. They're using the Unity's own network against it. The structure cracked more. The broken earth inside seemed to glow. Captain, Han said, his voice quiet. We're still heading toward it. Jin nodded. I know. The Retribution was badly damaged. Fires burned throughout the ship. Air was leaking out. They couldn't turn around now. All hands, Jin said over the ship's comm. Prepare for impact. The Retribution flew straight into the cracking crystal structure. The last thing Jin saw was a bright light brighter than any sun. The last thing he heard was Officer Kim's voice. We did it, we saved Earth. Then everything went white. White light. That was all Jin could see. Then darkness. Then light again. Jin opened his eyes. He was lying on the floor of the bridge. Around him the ship was broken. Wires hung from the ceiling. Small fires burned in corners. The lights flickered, on and off. Captain? It was Lieutenant Han's voice. Are you alive? Jin sat up slowly. His head hurt. I'm alive. What about the others? Han helped Jin stand. Officer Kim is hurt but alive. Commander Song is helping wounded on the lower decks. Engineer Choi, we don't know yet. Jin looked at the main screen. It was cracked but still working. What he saw made no sense. They were still in the strange space. The crystal structure was broken open now. The Unity ships floated without moving, like they had lost their power. And in the center, where the broken earth had been, was something new. A ball of light that shifted and changed shape. What is that? Jin asked. Officer Kim limped to her station. Her face had a cut on it, and her arm was in a makeshift sling. I think it's the humans, the ones we woke up. They're changing. Jin watched the light. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Are they alive? Yes, Kim said, but not like before. They're connected to each other now, but not like the Unity made them. They chose this. The comm system crackled. A voice came through. It wasn't anyone from the ship, Captain Jin Park. The voice was strange. It sounded like many voices speaking at once. Thank you, Jin looked at his crew. They were all surprised. Who is this? We were the captured, the taken, the used. Now, we are free. Jin understood it was the humans from the tubes. Are you, all of them, all those people? We are many, but we speak as one now, by our choice. Jin had more questions. What about the unity? Is it gone? Not gone. Changed. We have taken its place. Its power is now ours. Jin felt afraid. Had they just made something worse than the unity? What will you do now? The strange voice was quiet for a moment. We will heal. We will learn. We will remember our homes, our Earths. The light on the screen pulsed brighter. Your ship is badly damaged, Captain Jin Park. You cannot return home as you are. Jin knew this was true. The retribution was broken. They had no way to get back through the tear to their Earth. We can help you, the voice said. We can send you home. Jin didn't trust this new thing. Why would you help us? Because you freed us. Because you are human like we once were. Because your Earth still lives. Jin looked at his crew. They were tired, hurt. They wanted to go home. All right, Jin said. Send us home. The light pulsed again. It will take time. Rest now. We will work. 3 days passed. The crew of the Retribution fixed what they could. They counted their dead. 12 had died in the fight. Engineer Choi was found alive but badly hurt. Jin spent the days watching the light. It was getting bigger, stronger. Sometimes he saw shapes in it, faces, places, Earths that were no more. On the 4th day, the voice spoke again. We are ready, Captain Jin Park. Your ship is still damaged, but it will make the journey home. Jin nodded. Thank you. We have a message for your Earth, the voice said. For all humans. What is it? Jin asked. Tell them. We are one species across infinite worlds. Today, we stand together. Jin repeated the words. We are one species across infinite worlds. Today, we stand together. Yes, the voice said. Remember these words. The Retribution began to move, not by its own power but pulled by something else. They moved toward one of the small tiers in space. It grew bigger as they got closer. This will take you home, the voice said. Goodbye, Captain Jin Park. We will meet again. The Retribution passed through the tear. Again, Jin felt the strange pulling feeling, saw flashes of other lives, heard voices. Then they were through. Stars, normal space, and ahead of them, blue and beautiful, Earth. We're home, Han said, his voice breaking. The comm system beeped. Admiral Lee's voice came through. Retribution? Is that you? You've been gone for 2 weeks. We thought you were lost. Jin smiled. We're coming home, Admiral, and we have a lot to tell you. 3 months later, Jin stood in a big room in what was once called New Beijing. The city had been partly destroyed in a unity attack before the Retribution had gone through the tear. Now it was being rebuilt. With Jin were Admiral Lee, Officer Kim, now healed, Lieutenant Han, Commander Song, and Engineer Choi in a wheelchair. They were all in their best uniforms. In the center of the room was a new thing, a small tear in space but controlled, safe. It pulsed with soft light. Are you sure about this? Admiral Lee asked Jin. Jin nodded. They said they would come. I believe them. The tear grew bigger. Then, someone stepped through. It was a woman. She looked almost like Officer Kim, but older. Her eyes glowed slightly. Captain Jin Park, she said. Her voice had an echo to it. It is good to see you again. Jin stepped forward. You're one of them, the humans we freed. She smiled. Yes, I am what you would call an ambassador. I speak for all of us. Who are you? Admiral Lee asked. I was once Dr. Kim Na-young, from another Earth, one that the Unity took. The real Kim gasped. You're me? From another world? The ambassador nodded. In a way, though we are different now. She turned to address everyone. We have reclaimed the spaces between worlds. The multiverse awaits. Your sacrifices saved not just one Earth, but all Earths. The stars are now ours. What does that mean for us? Admiral Lee asked. It means you are not alone. It means humanity has a bigger home than you ever knew. It means we can share knowledge, resources, hope. Jin thought about all the other Earths that had been lost, all the people who had died. And the unity? Is it really gone? The ambassador's face grew serious. Not gone. Changed. We have taken its power, but not its hunger. We do not destroy. We build. Over the next few weeks, more ambassadors came through the tear. They brought gifts, new technologies, new ideas, new ways to live. Earth began to change, to grow. Other tiers opened in other cities around the world. People learned that they were part of something bigger, that humanity was more than just one planet. Jin often thought about that day on the Retribution, the day they had nearly died, the day they had saved not just their Earth, but all Earths. One evening, he stood on a hill outside the city. The stars were bright above. Admiral Lee came to stand beside him. "What are you thinking about, Captain?" she asked. Jin looked up at the stars. "I'm thinking about the message, the one they gave us." "We are one species across infinite worlds," Lee said. "Today, we stand together." Jin nodded. "Yes, we never knew how big we were, how connected." Admiral Lee smiled. The Retribution was built to destroy, but in the end, it built something new. Jin thought about the ship. It was being fixed. Soon it would fly again, not to fight, but to explore, to find new tiers, new worlds, new humans. "We lost so much," Jin said. "So many Earths, so many people." "But we saved more," Lee said. "And now, we have a second chance." As they watched, a new light appeared in the sky. It wasn't a star, it was a ship coming through a tear. A ship from another Earth, coming to meet them, to talk, to share. Jin smiled. Yes, a second chance. For all of us. The end.